Over summer, many farmers watched helplessly as flooding rains wiped out their bumper grain crops. It was a cruel blow after years of drought. In New South Wales' Central West, Scott McCalman saw much of his property go under. But since then, life's taken a dramatic turn for the better. Paul Lockyer reports.
Before Christmas, disaster struck on Scott McCalman's farm. A wheat crop that had promised so much ruined just on the point of harvest. And it wasn't just the wheat that was swamped. A newly planted cotton crop was claimed by the flood too.
Big losses, and after my farm, the next one, and for the whole district, this is what we're all facing, so it's pretty major.
The floodwaters covered much of the property, right up to the steps of the homestead. But there was an even bigger worry for the family. Scott McCalman was found to be suffering from a rare kidney disease, surviving on dialysis, supervised at home by his wife Jo, a former nurse.
Yeah, he was really sick, and he wouldn't tell anyone how sick he was, and I suppose being his wife at home at night time, it was a struggle. He battled to get through the night.
Scott was having to run fluid in and out of his tummy 4 or 5 times a day, every day. He confessed to me that he'd often forget. He'd give Jo a call at the homestead and ask her to bring fluids out to run him in on the tractor, and quite appropriately Jo refused.
I probably didn't realise how sick I actually was.
Scott McCalman had just 10% use of his kidneys. His sister offered to donate a kidney, but medical tests ruled that out. Then a match was found from a most unlikely source, his wife. Not a perfect match, but with recent advances in medical science, close enough to attempt a transplant.
It is just fantastic to be able to give someone life. It's just the best thing you could ever do. So, it's fantastic.
Now we can go beyond blood group barriers, so we can offer live donor transplants to more and more couples.
So how surprising was it for them to discover, though, that Jo could be a match?
I think Jo's a very determined woman, and I think she never had any doubts, to be truthful with you.
I'll have a brand new kidney from my wife, so look out, I'll be on fire.
The McCalmans left their flooded farm behind to journey to Sydney's Royal Prince Alfred Hospital for the transplant, under the care of Dr Stephen Chadban.
If you have kidney failure, it impacts on the whole family. So Jo giving Scott a kidney is going to improve the lot of the whole family.
Hi Jo, I'll just measure your blood pressure.
In Jo's case, she's trim. She's an excellent surgical candidate. I think she's as tough as nails.
Hi Scott, do you want to lie down? I'll just check your oxygen level and then we'll do your blood test.
The average kidney that you receive from a live donor such as Jo, we anticipate will last 20 years on average, and many of them will last 40 years.
The transplant operation went without a hitch.
To wake up on that operating table, after 7 hours of operation and have Jo's new kidney in my body was quite amazing. I could feel the difference straight away.
We're about 10 weeks down the track. How are you feeling physically, having donated a kidney?
Yeah, physically I feel really well now. It actually didn't take that long, probably 3 days out, and I felt like I was quite normal again. So amazing.
It's pretty special for me, Steve, to have the love and support from my wife, but love and support in our life. She's given me a new crack at it, so it is quite amazing.
See him, he looks fantastic. He's recovering superbly from the transplant. His kidney function's good, and his long-term outlook is very good.
Look at these. These were dead when we left. Isn't it amazing? I thought we'd lost all of this. Quite
when
incredible.
Scott and Jo McCalman finally returned home, they were delighted to discover that friends had already rallied around to clean up the garden after the flood. And beyond the homestead, there was an even bigger surprise. As the flood waters receded, the McCalmans took a gamble to plant a sorghum crop in the mud to try to salvage something from the farm. After a burst of hot summer weather, it's now thriving.
It's very satisfying to come home after everything Jo and I have been through to, come back after the flood water and everything else associated with it, and probably the drought before that, to come back to production and have things on the farm looking good again. It gave us the opportunity to generate a bit of income, allow us to make enough money to pay for this winter's crop, and really get the business back ongoing.
And there's no stopping Scott McCalman now.
I had a couple of minor rejection episodes early on in the piece after the operation, but since then my health has improved dramatically, and I'm calling myself 130% from where I was.
So I think that the crops are coming through, the water's abated and the tanks are full, plus he's got a kidney transplant that's working tremendously.
Yeah, I'm indebted to my wife for life. But yeah, look, certainly, Paul, I want to be around for a long time to share my life with her, and it's, I'm very lucky.
It was just probably in the nick of time that that we got him to Sydney and that he received the kidney. So all good. Now he's back on track, as you'd say, on fire again. God help us.
That's right.
Love a good news story. Paul Lockyer reporting.